This is a sensitive subject. Not that I haven't done them in the past, but this is a sensitive subject with some. What I've come to realize is that people don't like honesty, especially when it places them in the line of fire, when they have to be faced with themselves and their inadequacies, if you will, their weaknesses. But the truth is the truth. Anyhow, people like myself, and I do mean like myself, we have to try to medi out the truth in such a way where we don't have any real ill will towards people when we medi out the truth. Not that I don't have my faults, my own faults and my own issues, because I do. But I'm a work in progress, as we should all be. But the thing is, you have to be a work in progress. You have to be deliberately trying to be a better human being. That's what I mean. Now, as it relates to children, I hear people say, my kids are bad. Wow, they're out of control. They're out of hand. They're making me pull my hair out. They're getting on my nerves. These are some of the common statements that they make. I've asked people here recently, how your children doing? Bad as ever. And then I retort, hey, how did they get bad? And then they pause and look at me. They know exactly what I'm implying. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So, can you say that your children really are dysfunctional? Dis meaning not, functional. They don't function the way a normal human being should, with respect and courtesy and mannerisms and so forth, knowing what authority is and what their particular role might be in society, especially as it relates to adults, respecting adults and adult authority, as it were, providing that there is a proper adult authority, mind you, as a footnote. Now, your children are your children. They came into this world through mom and dad. Dad inseminated mama. Mama carried the child. She bore the child. And the child came out of her. So how does something that's this small, when he or she is born, end up being out of control when they get older? Toddler, adolescence, teenager, and young adult, and then ultimately maybe even a full-grown adult, a very mature adult. How does that happen? If you see a grown person, for example, that has a problem with their temper and attitude, that stems from childhood. If you see a grown person that is overly aggressive, or even on the flip side of that, very mannerable, very polite, very courteous, that's because of their childhood as well. We are a product of our environment. Whoever your parents were, or maybe even were not. So, mom and dad are directly responsible in most instances for how their children turn out. I always say, they're in your arms when they're children and young, but they're in your heart when they're older. So what happens is that we missed something. You missed something, parents, in parenting. You missed something. There was something that you did not give your children that caused them to be who and what they are. You need to face it. Now, this is not all parents, but this is a great deal of parents. If your children turn out bad, it's because you was a bad parent. If your children turn out good, even mediocre, it's because you was a good or a mediocre parent. Under normal circumstances, notwithstanding children who were abused by some parents, some foster care facility, and or people, or foster parents and they were adopted or what have you. Those cases we understand. But I'm talking about ordinarily. If your children turn out to be dysfunctional, look no further than yourself in the mirror. You are the reason. And that's a bitter pill that you're going to have to swallow, and that you should swallow, especially after you watch this video. You can curse me out, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't mean that what I'm saying is not the truth. It's the truth anyhow, as we say it in the South. It's the truth. Face it. You've got to deal with and bear this burden now of your inability to be a good parent. Sometimes you were very young as a parent and you did not know how to raise a child. I understand it. But you know what? In this modern society that we're in today, it's too many tools available to you. Are you reaching out, and have you been reaching out to get this information that's available to everybody with the advent of the internet? It's all kinds of psychotherapists, all kinds of psychiatrists and doctors and so forth, and organizations that will help you if you reach out to them. Or even other people, maybe your neighbors, maybe your family members, some family members anyway, perhaps. Have you done that? Or have you just stuck your children on the playground, let them go for what they know? Left them in the neighborhood, let them go for what they know. Put them in front of a video game or television. Send them out with some money to go have fun and let the neighborhood and the world raise your children but you. It's a job to be a parent. It's a job to be a mother and a father. It's a great responsibility. It's the hardest job you'll ever have. But you know what? It has a great reward in the end. It saves your child from being that child that's caught up in the jail system, the penal system, and even laying out in the street in a chalk line. It does. Or strung out on drugs. So are you doing your due diligence as a parent? Are you really parenting? Or have you left your children out there to fend for themselves? I'm sorry, but I'm not. Because you need to do your job as a parent and stop making excuses and blaming the world for what you should have been doing from day one. This is Brother Teacher. I'm out.